All right, guys. We've got the show match of the century. Two almost 14,000 rating players. The two best players on the ladder right now. Trigger in the bottom left, up against Clem in the top right. Clem is playing the famous GunBot Wasp style that he's so good at. He's also running King Crab Bomber, the newly buffed units in this patch that just came out this morning, up against Recall. So we've got Recall Hunter for Trigger. For some reason, Trigger's got his units in opposite slots. Normally, I like to always have ground unit on the top slot and the other one on that one, because obviously the hotkeys correspond to the unit slot, but Trigger's a mad lad. Maybe he's just used to that. GunBot's getting a good trade. Already getting a recall snipe, and that's why moving out with recalls against GunBot is very dangerous. Like, whenever you see them do their overclock, you basically want to get out. Now, this is an overextension if Clem keeps going in, because that's enough recalls to wreck that many GunBots, I believe. He goes for it anyway. Oh, wait. GunBots have a range advantage on recalls. Apparently, they have like a tiny range advantage, which I never even realized before, but Clem's good enough at micro, he gets to abuse it because he's Clem. Clem is so good at breaking units in this game. Oh my gosh. The recall's trying to defend. The GunBot's doing pretty well. GunBots generally do pretty well versus recalls in a straight up fight. We've also got a Wasp run by on the third. This feels like a pretty deadly maneuver. Let's see if Trigger can hang on. This feels really bad for Trigger, but Trigger is a way better player than I am. I think he understands how to deal with this. Oh, the Wasps are coming in for the flank. They're coming in for the flank. GunBot's from the right, Wasps from the left. He's going to go for it. This is a huge timing. 3 base against 3 base right now. Neither side is teched up just yet. Massive move for Trigger on the right. Trigger with the defense on the recall. The GunBot's numbers start to wane a little bit. A big reinforce comes forward. Their overclocks are going to start running out. See, some of them don't have overclocks left anymore. But, oh man, this feels like it's getting really bad for Trigger as he overextends. He's got recall hunters in the mix. I think he's just trying to spend blue resource to get cheaper units to kind of like tank and get in the mix. But I think recall hunters are kind of trash first ground. I could be wrong on that. Here we go. Very, very close to breaking Trigger, yet Trigger continues to take a 4th base in the face of it. He does not want to fall behind on bases. Both sides have rushed to 4 base. There's a GunBot animation bugged out on the map over there, guys. The map, I haven't seen that before. There's a GunBot like refraction firing animation over there. GunBots are so insane with their DPS, guys, but they are very fragile. They only have 600 hit points. They get one shot by mortars, whereas these recalls have like 1,000 hit points, I want to say. I think it's like 900, 1,000, something like that. They are definitely a fair bit tankier. Now, Trigger's still trying to hang in. Neither side's teched up. Mortars are available for Trigger, but he really can't afford to tech up. He's just in survival mode, and this is the joy of playing against Clem, guys. Every time I play Clem, he just overwhelms me with this style, and I just can't keep up with it. You can see Trigger's struggling. Wasps do run by. They're not targeting the workers because they're both so focused on the center fight. Recalls are defending there. Clem could be getting more damage done, but he's so focused on stutter stepping perfectly, and he doesn't get nearly as many workers as he should have. So Clem's kind of tunnel visioning a little bit there, but he does go back in on that left side. You can see those Wasps going in, and okay, units are recalling to the middle though. Big attack there. The pace that Clem plays at, Clem and Trigger and parting, is insane, man. These guys are so insanely fast. And Clem's GunBot usage is just ridiculous, man. He's just in your face, start to finish. And the crazy damage, he just doesn't let you get up that massive recalls. Recalls start to do very well on mass, but he's not letting you get there. He's even got a 5th base down to the south. Absolute mad lad. Neither side teching up at all. It's a pure tier 1 war. What a way to set the pace for this series, dude. What a way to set the pace. This is a best of 9 for those who don't know. And this is going to be kind of wild to see where this goes, because I think Clem's kind of just overwhelming just barely. This is not quite enough to defend. He's keeping him so occupied in the middle. It's so hard for Trigger to allocate units to defend his edge bases. And you normally can be a base down, but you can't be a base down and losing all your workers on one of those bases, because now you're effectively 2 bases down on the mining, even more with these workers that keep getting sniped on this base by the GunBots. You can see, yeah, that's a problem, because now the overwhelming mass is just going to be too much. Once again, we've got that weird GunBot refraction there. I haven't seen that before. The GunBot firing animations are just overwhelming. It is not enough right now. I think the early fights and losing like an early recall is always bad, but you lose like one early recall, then you lose a few more in the next fight. Things get rough. Then again, good fight. Very good fight for Trigger. Clem overcommitted a bit, but he's killing the top base at the same time. He's on 5 base. He can afford an overcommitment here or there. It does not matter. This is the lowest tech game I have seen in a long time. To be going 5 minutes into the game, which is basically, we're hitting like a 20-minute game of StarCraft right now, to give you guys an equivalency. To still be on tier 1, this is like people still playing Marines against Zerglings only 20 minutes into a game. It is so wild, but this is the way Clem and Trigger play sometimes. If they realize it's a momentum war, they're like, I don't have 60 seconds to tech up. Not in this sort of game. This is a mass expanding, low tier numbers game, but the GunBot DPS will get it done, and Clem overwhelms Trigger in game 1. All right. Game 2, guys. Let's see what the change up is. We've got Crab Wasp for trigger. Oh, he's doing an all-in. He's going one base, guys. Okay, so he's going to do a one base like Wasp Swift Shocker all-in. And Clem is going to respond by teching as well. So he's going to tech into Bomber King Crab. Bombers can clear the Wasps if you just build 1 or 2. But King Crab, I mean, Blink King Crab should do fine, right? Because just having a tier 1 ranged unit is so good. If you don't have a tier 1 ranged unit, I feel it gets really awkward. Trigger is, guys, 300 IQ choice. What if Trigger doesn't expand, doesn't make Swift Shockers, and just goes tier 3? Okay, no, he does expand. I was like, what if we just go straight to heavy ballistas here? Like, what if we just bypass tier 2 and go one base tier 3? No, that's not actually good. A little crab run by. So we've got Crab Wasp. Now, crabs are one of the best units for scaling into the mid game. They're not that weak to splash damage. 1,200 hit points. Oh, actually, no, sorry. 24. Sorry, what are the hit points on a crab, guys? 2,200? 2,400? Something insane. They take like 3 or 4 mortar shots to kill. Like, they take a lot of mortar shots to kill. Crabs are incredibly tanky. But obviously, being a chunky melee unit, they kind of struggle. We do have that Battle Aces stats website that's been put up. If you guys want to see that and you're watching live on Twitch, !Ace stats is the command for that. Here we go, guys. Yeah, it's 4 mortar shots, 2,200 hit points for a crab. King Crab's coming in as well. Blink's going to go forward. Swift Shocker's getting some hits off. King Crab trying to defend. Uh-oh. Clem's getting jumped on by... Oh, the Wasp's around. The Wasp's around. Beautiful Wasp around comes in. Swift Shocker, Wasp, Crab coming in. Nice move for Trigger, but this King Crab's getting big damage. Ooh, one of the Swift Shockers does go down. Swift Shockers shoot very fast. They do just over 100 splash damage a shot, which is not that much. But they shoot very fast, and of course, they are incredibly fast to move as well. Now, where do we go from here? Both sides stuck on tier 2. Do we just build a critical mass of Swift Shockers with crabs in front? Yeah, it looks like we're just going to go lots of Swift Shockers and crabs. Crabs do okay versus King Crabs. Bombers coming in. Is it worth? Oh, yeah, I was going to say it's only worth using bombers if you can hit the big clumps. Oh my god, like that. That's worth. That is super worth. Yeah, like 4 or 5 bombers there. That's essentially a full base of mining, because remember that the main base has double the workers to any expansion, so that's huge. Bomber run bys. Oh, hey, not bad. Gets a bunch of wasps and damages those Swift Shockers heavily. Trigger coming in with the Swift Shockers right now. The blink forward gets one of them and pulls back quickly. The blinks need to survive. Clem needs to keep those blinks alive. His bombers, one of them does go down. The King Crab's doing a great job of tanking right now. Remember, King Crabs are a bit tankier in this patch. Swift Shocker's getting some good shots of Trigger's trying to micro his heart out, but it just feels like he doesn't have the direct answers here that he needs. 2 base against 2 base, but remember, not really. So think of it. It's almost like 3 base income, because this is 2 bases plus 1 versus 1 and 2. Now, these will respawn for free, but they take a minute to respawn. A minute of downtime on mining is massive in this game, and Bomber's getting even more. 6 more workers go down there in the main base yet again. Great Bomber run-bys here for Clem. I really like the way he's done this. Blink King Crab actually really paying off right now. Raiders driving Miss Daisy now. The Raiders got nerfed probably too hard, guys. I built a Raider after the nerf, and I was like, what am I looking at? The Raider, for those who don't know, looks like a Hellion, but it can only attack workers, and it's terrible now. It's so slow. Oh, Swift Shocker's getting some good damage. Swift Shockers and Crabs hanging out. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my god. Another 8 workers go down to these run-bys. Swift Shockers just getting overwhelmed. Without a crab frontline and with just so many King Crabs either way, I think the DPS for Clem is just out of control. This feels like Clem's got this in the bag now. He can just jump on top. He can even just blink on these Swift Shockers and take them down. I don't think he has any fear anymore. Yeah, he'll blink on that. Takes a few hits, but that's okay. Gets rid of another Swift Shocker. And it turns out the King Crab's doing pretty well. He was also going to Advanced Blink as well. So Clem was about to get to Advanced Blink. The King Crabs, man, they got plus almost 15% of life in the patch this morning. And they are a very scary unit. They are a very scary unit right now. They were already pretty good, but they struggle against blinks and recalls en masse. Basically, or gunbots. Ranged units in general en masse were too good at killing them. They'd all get stuck on each other. It was hard to get them on top of the enemy units. You really had to be careful with how you ran them into unit worker lines and get flanks with them and stuff. Problem, Trigger went double melee. Double melee is very weak to King Crab. That's especially weak to King Crab, in my opinion, because you just don't have a way to focus them down, and King Crab DPS is wild. All right, what's the change up? Scorpion, Gunbot. There we go. Trigger's got the melee range combo now up against the Blink Wasp combo. Now, Scorpions are going to scale a little bit better into the mid-game as frontal fighting units compared to Wasps. We know that once there's splash damage of the field, Wasps are pretty useless. Scorpions are weak to splash damage, much weaker than Crabs, but obviously, being half the cost of a Crab, you can just get a lot of them, and you can use them kind of like Wasps for lots of runbys and stuff. GunBot's such a great DPS unit, does out-DPS the Blinks in terms of like cost, but they're way more fragile to splash damage. These guys get one-shot by a lot of things, and they do kind of struggle a little bit there. We just had a little bit of what looked like some server lag for a second. That is A-okay. Now, both sides are fast expanded. We're both above 400 energy, but they're trying to play reactive. They're both waiting for the other guy. There we go. They both take third bases. I'm not sure who dropped it first, but the other one immediately reacted with a third. You can see there's a lot of respect with how you tech at this level of play, where it's like, you going to expand? Am I going to expand? You know, and they don't want to leave any openings. Now, it's Mortar, Heavy Hunter, Heavy Ballista for Trigger. Good lineup. Very splash damage focused. Mortars will wreck both of these. Better, of course, against the Wasps than the Blinks, but they're still good against both. We've got Falcon Mammoth, whereas it's Airship Mammoth. Now, you don't want to play an air war here, right? You want to play Foundry reactively as Trigger, because Trigger does not have an anti-air unit on his Starforge. So he can't, if he goes Starforge and Clem plays Starforge, your Starforge is worthless. Nice run by GunBot's going in. GunBot's going in. The blink set up in the middle of the workers. Oh, you can blink them in the middle of the workers where they can't get surrounded by Wasps. Very cute. Big fight on the front right now, but this fight's going Clem's way. Clem wins the fight in the middle with the numbers, and whenever you lose a fight, those blink guys do punish you on the retreat. 5 workers do go down, but the fights were favorable for Clem. Scorpions are very good against blinks if you come in from behind and surround them so that they can't blink away, basically. They're kind of blinking into a surround of Scorpions. Right now, neither side teching right now. It's just Scorpion, GunBot against Blink, Wasp. The Wasps, very good for runbys. We'll see how this goes. Oh, Blink comes in. Careful, big fight. You don't want to just chase, because if you chase, he's just going to kill units and blink back. So notice he's trying to use the mobility of the blink to isolate the Scorpions, because the GunBots can fight the blinks, but the Scorpions cannot. Very nice micro by Clem. Clem putting on a masterclass right now, up 2-0 in this series, and look at that. He bypasses. Going to need to warp in units at home. He's trying to make more Scorpions and GunBots to defend, but he will lose workers here. He's going to fight on the front, but look, a bit of a messy fight there for Trigger as he was distracted, and a lot of his overclocks are gone. Oh, Clem baited out all of the stims from the GunBots, and now he commits to the fight. He's fighting workers as well. He is shooting the base a little bit. He's got to get out. Clem's got to get out. As the reinforcer GunBots came, he backed off, but he killed 4 workers, and part of that fight was very good for Clem. Clem does start to lose a few blinks, but notice he's very good at making the overclocks exhaust. There's 3 overclock charges, but it takes like 20 seconds for one of those to recharge. So if you just keep constant fighting like this and you keep making him overclock, suddenly you reveal the weakness of the GunBot. And this just shows the GunBot is so good at low level because there's not enough protracted fighting at low, mid, even at my level. I'm almost 10k, guys. At my level, no one, it's not that common to be able to exhaust them. But look at this. Clem just skirmishes. He says, yeah, I'm going to exhaust your overclocks. And if you got to fight without the overclock, you don't get that 13% damage boost, attack speed boost, nor the 50% movement boost, which allows them to get on top and all fire at once. Now these Scorpions are going to go down. Great catch there for Clem. Goes around, tries to avoid, does trigger, not able to find anything. Clem all over it with Blink on the front. Clem looking like an absolute beast right now. Guys, I really think Clem is just going to be so hard to stop in this game. He is such a freak, man. Clem, parting hero, is going to be so much fun to watch. These kind of crazy players that are just like all micro and aggression. This is going to be their game, man. At pro level, it's going to be insane to watch. GunBot's coming forward right now. It feels like with the 4th base up and a very similar army size, Clem's just got the momentum, right? His 4th base is mining. He's just making more units, and now they're on tier 2. You've got King Crabs and Bombers, whereas we've got to play very slow mortar style here. But notice Trigger makes the mistake of sieging all of his mortars at once. He was afraid of them getting blinked on. He's got to spread his mortars across all of his bases. Bombers! 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 Oh my god. I was expecting King Crabs and maybe a few bombers, but holy crap. What did I just witness? Those are the Baneling Suicide Unit, for those who don't know. Oh my god. And he's not covering everything with mortars, guys. He needs mortars on his bases. He doesn't have them set up just yet. Bombers are going to blow up even more workers there. And Clem has money. He doesn't need to be directly cost efficient. Oh no, even more workers in the main. Yeah, I mean, you're just hanging on by a thread right now. And remember, mortars don't do good damage to king crabs even before the patch. Now the king crabs have even more life. Mortars getting jumped. That is a lot of mortars, though. That's enough mortars to defend this position. So basically, we are playing from way less resources. Clem needs to go air. If he goes air... Actually, no, because there's heavy hunters. Oh, and all he's got is advanced blinks on tier 3. I guess Clem needs to just break him before the mortar count gets out of control. Like, isolate a few mortars on their own, kill them, and just keep spreading out and attacking from multiple angles, and that should get the job done. King crabs have crazy DPS, and you can see whenever you find a few mortars on their own like this, that's a great way to do it. So he gets these 3 mortars. He comes in with another bomber run by. The mortars are trying to stop it. No. They don't get one shot by mortars anymore, by the splash damage anymore, remember? The bombers get in, even more workers going down. And another mortar goes down on the top. And this is it. You just want to keep... Oh, this mortar spread in the middle is not breakable, though. If Clem attacks into here, like, look at the number of circles there are overlapping. He needs to keep attacking the top. Clem should maybe even take a 5th base as well, just to, like, proper... Oh, he's going to go for it. This is not good. This is too many. Surely that's too many mortars, is it? Maybe, maybe not. Bombers don't get one shot by mortars anymore. Then there's just no support. Actually, with no support, just mortars on their own, if there was, like, a bunch of support, maybe... But it looks like he's just got too much stuff. I think he had like triple the army value there. So even though he attacked into a mass mortar spread and Trigger kind of almost defends, you could just see that overwhelming numbers are there for Clem at this point. He's just a bit too far ahead. And yeah, he's got endless reinforce. Because remember, what's the mining? Base is only half mining. This base is only partially mining. This base not mining at all. And that's a full 4 bases untouched for Clem. Clem absolutely killing it today. He's up 3-0. All right, guys. Ooh, Wasp GunBot for Trigger up against a Wasp Hornet. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a fast expand for both sides. Clem, after that last game, said, oh, by the way, Trigger, I'm not sure. Did you see the patch changes that just came out today? And Trigger's like, oh, yeah, I saw it. This is my first time playing since it only came out a few hours ago. For context, for those watching. Maybe you gotta be careful on those overclocks. I think this is something where, like, not overclocking until a fight actually starts will become a thing against top level players, right? Like, don't use it here, save it. Yeah, because right now there's no reason to save it. Use it, he'll just run away. Wait until he engages on you, and when he engages on you, then use it, right? And this is, yeah, you see Trigger's being really patient on his overclocks. He's taking Foundry right now. He's got Crusader. So he's basically just gonna have a tanky unit in front of his gunbots, which is just Crusader gunbot's such a good comp. He's also got Heavy Hunter to deal with air. Clem, however, just takes a 3rd base and says, I'm just gonna swarm you with wasps, wasps, wasps. He's gonna go for the main base. And you can see here, Trigger's trying to get a clump of dudes in his main, where it's going to be hard to surround them. And I think he's okay. I think the gunbots should be good. You can also reinforce with wasps whenever the fight gets messy, and that's really useful. Like, I really feel like reinforcing with wasps is huge. Got to pull back, Trigger. The worker's on the top. That's exposed. He's got to split. Gonna have to split. Okay, he leaves the top units up. Oh, Trigger on move command a little. And those wasps will come in from the right side. He loses 5 workers, only gets a few wasps for it. Great trade for Clem. That was a little sloppy there. I think he wants to move out to take a 3rd, does Trigger. But the way Clem's counterattacking is just making it hard for him to move out. And you can see Clem's going up to airship Stinger right now. Stingers will do really well versus the Crusaders. And without splash damage, I don't think Trigger has a great answer right now. Oh no, his Crusader's going to get surrounded. He's got a few gunbots there. He's going for a big push. Crusader gunbot counter push. He's going to make more Crusaders to try and defend over here. But I think this is a pretty good Wasp trade because you're getting all the workers, you're killing gunbots, you're also killing Crusaders. Anytime you surround Crusaders, they are getting wrecked by basic units. Crusaders get countered by Wasps. And in general, any tier 1 unit actually trades well versus the Crusader. Crusader's there for tanking, so your other units behind it can do damage, which is why Clem's avoiding fighting this army. Because that army's scary, right? So he's just like, that's fine, I'll just attack here. And I actually think, rather than Crusaders, Trigger should have been making his own Wasps, potentially, with his gunbots. Oh, trying to get on top of the Stingers. He's got to clear the Stingers. But look, see, Stingers do pretty well kiting against Crusaders. They can just kind of gun down Crusaders, King Crabs, and stay out of range of the gunbots as much as possible. Really nice play. Meanwhile, it looks like Crusaders finally defend at home, but Trigger's basically out of money right now. And that's why he needs to win with this army. His last Crusader's about to go down. He's out of overclocks. He's out of overclocks. The last Crusader goes down. Now, the Stingers on their own aren't that powerful, right? They can go down to the gunbots, especially if the gunbots overclock, but nah, it's enough. There's just no reinforcements here. And yeah, you killed some workers, but losing so many workers in your main base, this means the income right now, we've got almost 2 full bases, or 3 full bases because the mains are double, up against only like 1.8 bases or something like that. So 3 bases versus 1, massive income advantage. Let's see what Clem can do with it. He's got Stingers coming in from the right side. On the north, Wasps coming in as well. Stinger's going to do really well here. Dude, look at those Stingers. Dancing in and out. Dancing in and out. Stingers are so nice. Stinger Wasp, one of my favorite comps right now. Right now, Clem is up 3-0. Can he take this to the 4-0 lead? It's looking pretty good for him. But you don't really want to be engaging on the Crusaders that hard unless all your range units are shooting and very few of his are. So notice, he'll take a fight when the gunbot's like mostly out of range, pick off a unit, and then run away. Pick off a unit, run away. Oh, his hiding is so good. Even there, you can see Trigger finally gets a stinger, gets 2 stingers focused, but now his gunbots are going down. That's where his damage is. He's built a heavy hunter accidentally as well, reeling on the defensive. Clem is just next level with his aggression today, and there's like a momentum thing now. When you're playing against Clem, I tell you, man, in this game, I've not taken a map off Clem. It's every time I play him, I feel like I have circles being run around. He's running circles around me. He's just friggin' wrecking me so hard. And it's kind of vindicating to see that he's probably played a bit more in this patch than Trigger has. And it's good to see he can do this to like one of the best players in the game like Trigger as well, because just makes me feel a little bit better, because I don't feel like I really put up a fight when I lose to Clem. It's kind of embarrassing. But you know what? It's a good counter push. I feel like he's got some good micro on this top side. If he can defend the south, it is still 2 base versus 2 base. It's all about efficiency at this point. He's going to come back and try and intercept this army. Oh, Clem with a misrally. Loses a stinger and a few wasps. He's going to try and cut off the retreat. Oh my god, Clem overcommitting. If he gets trapped, that could be huge. But he's not going to get trapped though. He'll just lose a few units on the way back, but not too many. Okay, more stingers coming out. It's mass stinger wasp here. Ooh, I mean, the wasps do good versus the Crusaders, but the gunbots are a better value unit in these big fights. Way better value, which is why you have to keep using the multi-prong, the mobility. But Clem's kind of foreshadowing it a little bit, but like he shows that he's running this way. Clem needs to be like cutting in from behind with more sneaky attacks, but I think this is a good fight for Trigger. Dude, Trigger's gunbots doing well. The ones on the right have run out of overclock, unfortunately. The stinger count's kind of crazy, but you can see how quickly they die when the gunbots actually shoot them. Oh, another stinger goes down. Another stinger getting low on the bottom. It goes down as well. Dude, I think Trigger's got this. He's got a 3rd base now. Crusader gunbot just too good right now. And I guess King Crab wouldn't have answered this. Bomber may have answered this. Going Foundry may have helped here for Clem, but look, comes dead. He's about to GG. He's overwhelmed. The gunbot's doing too well. So Clem just could not trade efficiently with this comp. Once there was a big group of Crusader gunbot together, yes, the mobility of the Stinger Wasp is good, but what a comeback for Trigger. Trigger was miles behind on the income, and he just gets that critical mass of gunbot Crusader, starts just denying the runbys and the multi-prong. And you can see, I really think Clem probably needed to go Foundry and try to get bombers on the gunbots. But that's easier said than done. Gunbots can spread. They can focus them down pretty well. The Crusaders up front can gun them down or punch them as they're running past. Would have been hard to get back in that one for Clem, but yeah, probably needed to just keep being elusive and try to tech up to maybe bombers. Valkyrie on tier 3 was not helpful for him either. Because you could see, if he had something that could do well against Heavy Hunter, maybe like Locust tier 3, he might have been able to go tier 3 air, but that wasn't really an option because Valkyrie's an anti-air specialist. Sorry guys, I've swapped the player positions. Clem is now on the left side for this game. That's my fault. I normally check in the lobby, but I've turned the player positions around. So we've got Clem on the left side, Trigger on the right for this one. I know that's going to be a little confusing. I apologize for that. Trigger playing Wasp Gunbot, Clem playing Wasp Gunbot. They're both playing Wasp Gunbot. Trigger has mortars, shockers, heavy ballista, whereas Clem is still running that bomber King Crab advanced blink. Now on the Starforge, we've got Falcon, a great air-to-ground unit for Trigger. He's also running Airship, same as Clem, and Valkyrie. So they're both running 2 air superiority guys. They're tier 2 and they're Starforge and they're Wildcard and tier 3 Starforge slot. But Clem, if he goes Starforge, also can just play Mammoth, which is a nice ground unit. And then he can swap to airships to counter the Falcons. I would say I prefer Clem's Starforge lineup because Falcon's just not going to be very useful. If you're both playing airships, like Falcons are just dead weights. It's whoever has more airships wins. I do imagine this is just going to be Foundry versus Foundry, but we'll see how it goes. Clem massing gunbots, not going for the mobility on the Wasps. It's actually Trigger who goes for the Wasp multi-prong, and it's Clem who adopts a more defensive stance, trying to build the critical mass of gunbots that will scale well into the bigger fights. But if they get surrounded by stuff, it can be big. Oh, no, he's going to get trapped. Oh, this is something, yeah, players know that this is the hiding spot. At high level, they always check for this now. Great catch here. Really good catch for Clem. So Trigger there being a little bit too obvious. I've noticed this as well, is you can't hide there against the top players anymore. At low level, always hide a run by there. People never check. At high level, people always check. If you're playing Wasps, especially, or Scorpions, up behind this worker line, and they find you and catch you. So good start there for Clem. Gunbot's hanging out in the middle. It's a Gunbot face-off. Wasp's in the middle getting ready for a run by. Clem will dive that right side. There is a Wasp watching for it, though. And Gunbot's going to move to respond. Ooh, sorry, guys. Saw a little bit of a lag there. Oh, my God. Oh, good angle for Clem. The Wasps in the bottom are just distracting Trigger and making him stay back. And you can see this fight's pretty good for Clem. Gunbots go down to intercept the Wasp. That's good for Trigger, though. But now he's getting jumped on because Clem just says, oh, you know what? I can just isolate those guys and gun them down. I've already got what I feel like is a bigger, scarier army. So it's hard for Trigger to come out in the open and save these guys. So I'm going to trap these guys. If you come to trap me, I'll sandwich you in return. Actually, he's not going to be ready for the sandwich. He's going to get trapped. Trigger with a great move. Trigger with a good move here. Does he have the numbers to truly overwhelm, though? Because look, uh-oh, the hunter becomes the hunted. Does he have his reinforce here early enough? Maybe, maybe not. He's trying to pull back. That south side is crumbling. Beautiful concave management. Top side does do well for Trigger, though. Trigger's doing really well on the top side. The south side of his line crumbled. It's interesting to see how this is. I thought reinforcing with Wasps would be really good in these fights, just because, like, it's quicker to reinforce. But these guys seem to be of the idea that just getting more Gunbots is the way to do it. I always thought get a core of Gunbots and then just have lots of Wasps, because I feel like Wasps have much more tanking power, like way more tanking power for their cost, even though they're not going to be dealing damage. And I feel like if you just come in with like a bunch of Wasps and then you stim on top and stutter step, that could work. But I think at the top level, they're so good at stutter stepping away against enemy Wasps, they never really let you surround or anything. This is interesting, man. This game regularly boils down into A move tug of wars. This is definitely not A move. That's definitely not A move. And these games look very different to my games, funnily enough, which is what's so interesting is you watch these two particularly, very fast-paced micro StarCraft 2 pros. It's a big difference. Here come the shockers for Trigger. Bombers, spread. The bombers sacrificing themselves on chunky shockers, not the best. But wow, bombers are insane because they just don't die to splash damage anymore. Bombers might be broken in this patch, guys. They changed bombers so they don't get they don't get one shot by any of the splash damage units anymore. It used to be they would get one shot by shockers, mortars. They don't anymore. The fact that they could trade on that like that, is it a good enough trade though? Because they are a suicide unit. Each one's like 50-50. And these are only 125, 125. So if you trade 5 bombers on one of these shockers, it's not like it's a good trade. I think the trade on the gunbots was pretty good though. The shockers have a pretty big burst fire, but they shoot so slowly. I think we need some mortars in the mix and some other units in general. No mortars in the mix just yet. I guess he's not playing mortars at all. It's just mass shocker. Wow. I mean, the thing is, shockers wreck gunbots and wasps so hard. If you could get some gunbots out as well with this, that would really help against the king crabs, though. If you don't have gunbots dealt with the king crabs just with raw DPS, it can be a little hard. King crabs, very tanky, very high damage. Couple shockers going down, but man, their damage on the gunbots is big. Couple shockers go down. The king crabs are falling, though. This is looking good for Trigger. Trigger defends the right side as well. He had two shockers there. He's just going for a mass shocker push, saying, what answer do you have to this? Bombers aren't good against these. I don't know where his basic money is being spent. There we go. Finally, he builds gunbots. He's going to bring the gunbots in from behind and probably spread them out so bombers can't deal them. Great surround attempt coming in. He's going to try and intercept his Clem. We'll find these two shockers on the right. They're going to get wrecked. And I think this is a good fight for Clem now. Good fight for Clem. The shockers getting individually isolated. The king crab's doing really well. On the right side, the left, a massive surround. The king crab gunbot surround and a pure shocker army is not where it's at. I think having Mortar wasting one of his unit slots is a huge problem for Trigger right now. I think the Mortar, if he had a few Crusaders in there or something a bit tankier, I think that would have really worked. As it was, that turned from a game-winning position to Trigger to a Clem maybe can get back in this. Remember, he killed a lot of workers on that base. They're only respawning now. Trigger only got a few worker kills there on the third. Another big surround coming in. But this time he's a little more elusive using this little blocker in the middle. He's just going to fight as best he can Trigger. Trying to pull back the gunbots. Trying to shoot, man. Shockers go down so quick. King Crab DPS is wild. And shockers are not the tankiest unit. Gunbots do well. Oh god, spread. Okay, those bombers didn't do that well. I think we want to go... Heavy ballistas aren't the best versus King Crab either. You kind of just have to keep playing this comp. He's going to mix in one mortar, which I like a single mortar. I mean, a mortar's just got great damage for its cost. Like 1 or 2 mortars is not a bad idea. King Crab run by coming in there. It's all about the gunbots really now. The gunbots need to be used efficiently on both sides. If shockers land hits on them, they won't do well. If bombers land hits on triggers, they won't do well either. Bombers run buying the main. Oh, this is such a good run by. He's going to try and stop it. Shocker comes in. Gunbots coming in. Oh, he gets rid of 3 of them, which means they can't one-shot worker anymore. It takes 2 shots to kill a worker, guys. The wasps come in to finish them off, though. That was a very good move. Gunbots getting overwhelmed by the king crabs. Ooh, he's going to lose his shocker and a bunch of gunbots in the middle as well. Big king crab gunbot assault. The mortar helps out a little, but it didn't target the gunbots. And once the gunbots are getting hit, though, the shockers can wreck gunbots once they land hits on them. That's what I was talking about. If the king crab gets into the worker line before that happens, clears out almost that entire worker line. That is big. The gunbots are a little exposed. The shockers need to land hits on the gunbots, but they just can't get in range. These shockers are like, let me at him, bro. Perfect pullback timing for Clem. If he can get more king crabs out in front, he absolutely can tank the shocker shots and make this happen. Trig's eco is in shambles. Trigger's eco is done. He kind of feels like he has to all in. More bombers coming in. This is like a counter all in right now, but he's going to get surrounded. Look at the spread from Clem. Clem's coming in with a big spread to limit that shocker damage. He doesn't have that many king crabs. The king crabs are starting to fall, but if the shockers go down, that's going to be a problem. He's got to pull these shockers back. Oh my god. But the gunbots, I like the way the Clem's trying to absorb these shots. The shocker shots are big, but the gunbots focusing them down, and Trigger has to tap out. My gosh, that was a close game. Ooh, Gunbot Wasp is incredibly weak to splash damage. You could see how weak anytime Wasp Gunbot was getting hit by shockers, it was a problem. But without a tankier unit in front, Trigger also lacked something. If Trigger had crabs, maybe, crab Gunbot, instead crab, shocker would have wrecked Clem's army, in my opinion. But without anything to tank in the front line, the shockers themselves were going down pretty quickly. And I'm also just not that familiar with how the shocker trades in general. Like it kind of feels like you need the front line of crabs, and then you need to try to micro individual shockers forward to target Clem's wasps and gunbots. But either way, really well played by Clem. He's up 4-1. All right, guys. Trigger in the bottom left going Wasp, Gunbot. Clem has swapped to Recall. Oh, I love to see it. Now, Recall does struggle a little bit. He's got Recall, Blink Hunter up against just like Wasp, Gunbot kind of surrounding swarms. So he's got to be very careful with his positioning. These guys scale really well in high numbers. Their stats are fantastic, but they're very slow and they're expensive. So Wasps are 25 matter, Gunbot's 50, whereas each Recall is 100. So they cost double a Gunbot, 4 times a Wasp, and that's pretty big. Gets a few shots off without getting in return. This is something that Clem was showing earlier, is that Gunbots technically can out-micro recalls. Pulls back, and you see, look at that. Okay, finally takes a few shots in return. It's very hard to do this micro effectively, but you can see you can get off more shots than you take in return. Clem was showing you can kind of, break this early interaction if you're good enough at the micro. You see Clem's trying to like quickly turn around and catch him and get some shots off. Oh, but the Gunbots are overwhelming him. This is what Clem kind of wrecked Trigger with earlier today, guys, in game 1, and got the momentum going in the series. Now it's Trigger's turn to do the same back to him. I think this is a good fight for Trigger. Very good fight. I think Trigger might just have this in the bag. Yeah, that micro is crazy, dude. I think taking the third was way too greedy. Clem taking the first third, it turns out was too greedy against Gunbots, because Gunbots have the micro advantage and he didn't spend the 400 on the expansion. Now he expands once he gets the advantage, and that's the way to do it. Really well played by Trigger, great micro, and Clem finds himself up against a wall. Not as one-sided the match as people were starting to think this was going to be. Oh, he's got recall shockers, guys. He's got recall shockers and bombers on his lineup. Lots of splash damage being unlocked here, but he's not going to get there in time. Because Trigger's like, dude, I got critical mass, bro. You can't tech up right now. I'm already ahead on army. You're going to tech up? No way. And that's just brutal. I like to leave most of the guys on the base, so you kill the units as they spawn. Clem just has to tap out. That was the exact same as game 1, but in reverse. Brutal, man. Gunbots against recalls is a problem. You cannot expand faster than the Gunbot player, it looks like. And you need to be really careful in those early fights. Well played by Trigger. Guys, I mentioned in the chat there, okay, today I learned that recalls get outranged by Gunbots and just out-microed. And Clem said, yeah, recalls suck. So no surprise. He's gone back to Gunbot Wasp here. It's Gunbot Wasp against Gunbot Wasp. This is kind of the meta, is players playing Gunbot Wasp. Now notice, both players are not playing Heavy Hunter. They're both just relying on Airship, which means we will probably see a mass mirror matchup war of Gunbot Wasp. Now, I'm always fascinated in Gunbot Wasp versus Gunbot Wasp, because I always feel like basically going heavy Wasps earlier is better, unless the Gunbot player plays perfectly with 0 mistakes. Because Gunbots scale better into big fights, but they just can't be everywhere at once. And anytime Gunbots get full surrounded by Wasps, they get wrecked. Like, if you don't have 50 of them in a ball, if you got 50 in a ball, it's fine, because they all kind of cover each other. It's like having a big phalanx, you know, a big formation. Everyone's covering each other. But when you've got like 10, 20 getting surrounded, they get destroyed. Like, Wasps are just, if they can surround anything, Wasps wreck. So how do you cover your worker lines and not get surrounded and keep up with the expansion rate of the guy who's massing Wasps? Well, you don't. So Clem's saying, that's fine. I'm just going to make the better unit. You get an extra base, but I get to tech up faster. And that's the smart way to play this. And this is the mistake I was making sometimes when I was playing GunBots. If you're not investing in the Mass Wasp, you're going for the longer term, more efficient army, you want to tech up. He's going to go GunBot, King Crab. But Trigger does... Oh, Trigger's going air! He reactively goes air. So he's like, dude, I can make Falcons. You have nothing that shoots up. So this forces Clem to either go advanced recoil for anti-air, which I don't know how good that actually is versus anti-air, but he's probably going to go Starforge and go airship. So we're finally seeing the air tech counter come into play. This is going to be awesome. Ooh, hello. GunBot push. But here comes the Wasp push, and that's always going to be... And he's even got GunBots behind. The GunBots should move in. Ooh, King Crabs are here. Perfectly timed. The GunBots aren't really fighting for Trigger right now. Trigger's got to be careful. If he doesn't focus fire the King Crab with the GunBot, it's going to be a problem. Nice, nice. He should be able to kill the King Crab with these GunBots if he micros perfectly. But his own base is getting jumped on. Bombers are going to run in on the other side. His Falcons aren't out just yet. He does clear most of that base of mining. Remember, he's already got way more mining in this game. Losing these workers, not as effective. The Bombers don't really want to trade for these workers. They want the main base workers. All these clumped up GunBots. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, massive hits on the workers there. Falcons come out, but it's a massive Falcon commitment. And this is the power of being first on the tech, diving, getting damage. You force them to mass Falcon defensively, and guess what? That's all your energy going on Falcons. They don't shoot up. They're also very slow. They can't counterattack. If they move through the middle, they can kill a third. Clem's not going for a third. Clem is just saving for his own airships, but his income does kind of suck right now. Oh man, this is still very close. GunBot versus GunBot battle could be good. All the Falcons going together across the map, I think, is a big mistake, guys. Oh, man, Bombers are really hard to kill now. Oh my gosh, so many workers going down. Is he Falcon base trading? Oh my god, the Falcons are full committing. I've never done this. I didn't know you could go across the map with the Falcons in time. This is either a genius move by Trigger or a huge mistake. I don't think it's going to work out. He is trying to micro down the King Crabs. The Falcons finally arriving on the other side. He has to go for the main base. He has to dive the main base. And he's got to build his own Falcons at home. But Trigger has no blue income. He can't even get one Falcon at home. And look, airships are just going to kill him. This is why Falcons don't go across the map, because they just reactively make air units. They take too long to get over there. And Trigger needed to keep those Falcons on the defense and tech up from there. Ooh, Clem takes the 5-4 there. Very nicely done by Clem. That's interesting, guys, because I do think Trigger, his plays made sense, but I think he just felt like he took too much economic damage. And I'm not sure what the answer there for that is, other than don't build so many Falcons, maybe. But yeah, I've been trying this same Falcon defensive play, and they are so decent versus ground, but so slow that it's really tough to do. And the Bombers in general are just getting so much value. The Bomber does seem like it's a little bit overtuned from this match. Let's ask the players really quickly to hop in call.